I want to thank you guys for clicking on this video. So I just got back from watching the latest Monsterverse movie, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. So this movie is the fifth Monsterverse movie in this franchise, and this is also the sequel of Godzilla vs Kong that came out in 2021, which was 3 years ago. It's hard to believe that it's been 3 years since that movie came out. So a little backstory: Godzilla vs Kong was the main crossover in this monster universe. So we got Godzilla in 2014, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Then we got this crossover, which I think the only thing that hurt this crossover at the time it came out is that we had a pandemic the year before. This movie was in theaters, but also on streaming on HBO Max at the time. So we didn't get that full potential of a full theatrical release and see what it could do in the box office. But now we got full box office release in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, and so far this movie has made $194 million opening weekend, and we know that number is going to even skyrocket even more, and this movie might hit around the $700 million range. I think it won't hit a billion though. But a little backstory is Godzilla versus Kong. This is the first time we saw the two big kaiju titans on the screen. They fought because, of course, they don't like each other. There was a lot of destruction in that movie. But overall, I think the characters were not that bad in that movie, but they could have done a little bit better. But in this new version, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, we got Rebecca Hall back and Brian Tyree Henry, I think. He is back in this movie. Well, of course, we get the kaiju Godzilla Kong. But for our new main cast, we also got Dan Stevens, which after watching this movie, I need Dan Stevens to get more movies on his resume. And also, I forgot the little girl that was in Godzilla vs. Kong. She's back in this movie also. But not only we got Dan Stevens coming back, we also got some new Titans or Kaijus in this movie. We got Shimo and Scar King, which is both of the main villains in this movie. So let's get right into it. This movie was amazing. On Letterboxd, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. But the most positives for me in this movie is the kaiju action. We get a lot more kaiju action in this movie than I think we did in Godzilla vs. Kong. Right up front, this feels like a sequel to Kong Skull Island because we get a lot more time with Kong than we do with Godzilla. But they make Kong feel like an actual person, a human being. He takes showers. He lives like an average man who's just going through his natural day, who's feeling the problems of a day because of course there's some scenes he's got to fight. Like I said, he takes a shower. He even has a toothache in this movie. Just a little spoiler, but it's not a big spoiler. He gets a toothache in this movie, and we all know what a toothache feels like. You're not the same. So this is a big problem in his daily life. But overall, we get some great kaiju action, like I said before, in Kong and Scar King, like we saw in the trailer. That scene right there was outstanding. Suko in this movie, I love Suko. Suko would probably be one of your guys' favorite characters if you haven't seen this movie yet. The introduction to him is, I think, probably one of the best introductions we got for a non-main character in this franchise. But let's get right into it. Let's get into Scar King and Shimo. First of all, I think Scar King could probably be one of the biggest frauds in movie history because the trailer looks like he's going to be the next big bad villain in this movie, but he is not. I don't want to say right now because this, of course, this is a spoiler-free review. I would say more in my spoiler review, but there's a reason why Scar King is not the big villain. But Shimo, on the other end, I give big props to Shimo because not only she's probably one of the biggest titans right now in this Monsterverse besides King Ghidorah, but the scenes that she was in was outstanding. That ending fight scene with her, Scar King, Godzilla, and Kong, chef's kiss right there. But let's get right into this ending real quick. This is one of the best endings besides Godzilla versus Kong. This is straight kaiju action. There's no human involvement in this. There's like 10 minutes of kaiju action, straight kaiju action in this. There's no hiccups in it. There's destruction, of course. There's always going to be destructions in this movie. The place that they picked this for was Brazil. I think Rio de Janeiro. Perfect. Because, of course, on the like in the trailers, we get this on like the beach and city setting. The lighting, outstanding. The powers of these creatures, kaijus, of course, Kong. We got him using that Beast Affinity Glove, which that is amazing creation that they have in this movie, and it will show you guys when you watch this movie why that was created for Kong. Godzilla becoming involved is one of the best things I think that's happened to Godzilla in this franchise. It shows that he is in a dominant state and that he is the ultimate predator besides Kong in this whole franchise. Shimo with her frost breath, I think that's probably one of the best powers that we have got out of any kaiju since Godzilla's atomic breath. But the only thing that seems that Skarking has got in this franchise is that whip. And what's connected to that whip is a little bit into the story. Of course, if you guys don't know, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I would, like I said, I would go more of that in my my spoiler review. But this is that whip, what you guys see, is why he's a fraud. Godzilla, on the other end, will dominate anybody that gets in his way. And when we finally see Godzilla and Kong meet up in Cairo, as you guys seen in the trailer, that is probably, besides the ending, one of the greatest scenes in this movie. Because we finally get the battle that we have always wanted since last when we saw Godzilla versus Kong when they faced each other. It's this scene right here. Because you guys know, if you guys have seen promotional art, promotional trailers, footage, that they're going to fight each other in this movie. And all I can say is that feels like WWE. If you guys have watched the WWE, this has a real WWE feeling in that part of the movie. And as a real big WWE fan right now, I was so happy. I was smiling looking at the screen, actually. But first of all, this movie, you got to go see in the theater because you need a crowd. Because I had a crowd in my theater. A lot of times I don't get crowds in my theaters when I watch the movie. But I think I've had like 40 to 50 people watching this movie when I did. We got awes, we got laughs, we got clapping, especially if you're are taking your kids out, your kids will love this movie. Adam Wingard, when he looked at this movie, there's a lot of things he has said he put into his movie, thinking about not only the Shoho era of Godzilla, because it leans a lot towards that, but also the younger friends of Godzilla and Kong. Like especially like when we grew up with the 1989 not 1999, 1998 Godzilla, which that Godzilla is not that great, but we also grew up with Peter Jackson's King Kong. And he thought of us in that way, but also the generation now. And not only that, he took things from his natural life, and I will get into more of that in my other review. And he actually put them into this movie, which was really funny and surprising at the same time. But with that being said, if you guys haven't seen Godzilla versus Kong yet, not Godzilla versus Kong, if you guys haven't seen Godzilla versus Kong yet, go watch that before you watch this because I think out of all the movies, that connects more to this movie than I think the standalone movies that was in this universe. But if you guys have seen Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, go out to your local theater and watch it. Which I didn't see in IMAX, but I'm hearing IMAX is a good way to go with this movie. So, guys, with that being said, if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button because it would help out the channel and me very much. But also, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification because it would tell you guys when I post my Godzilla X Kong the New Empire spoiler review, which should be up tomorrow or in a couple of days. And also, let me know down in the comments if you have seen any of the Monsterverse movies, what you guys think about them, and if you guys haven't seen Godzilla X Kong the New Empire yet. And guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.